3. Gloria, and welcome to the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
I am overjoyed to get to know you and your story today. As I said before we came on, I discovered you in quite a unique way. I can't say I've had too many guests that I've watched on television while binging the show that they're on while sick, but I'm so thankful that I did, and I just absolutely fell in love with your story and your product and just your branding. Everything about you is just wonderful. And I'm just so thankful that you agreed to come on today and tell us all about your company and your journey and just your thoughts on life. You have such a beautiful outlook on life, and I'm just thankful for your time. So thank you.
Thank you again.
So
Um,
you are the founder of a condiment line based off of the flavors of your home country, Ghana, and your company is called Gloria Shito. Now, could you give us a brief look into your earliest memories of tasting this condiment and it kind of really like sealing the deal of what home flavors are for you when you think of that part of your soul?
yes. So I was born in Ghana. My earliest childhood memories were in Ghana. So adolescence through like early teenage years. For me, the taste of home is community and family. I grew up in a huge family per se. My mother comes from she has 14 siblings, so aunts and uncles. So for me, I was always around this huge family. Unfortunately, and I shared a little bit on the show, I lost my mom at the age of 4. And so I became the child living with her sisters and so aunts and uncles. And they had so many kids. So my childhood or earliest memory is being around so many family members, cousins, growing up with all these people. And I remember in Ghana, kids have to have a chore. So I always had a chore on weekends, and we'll do laundry, we will sweep the compound, and then after that, we will all eat a meal. And my founder's memory with Shito, it's a chili oil or a pepper sauce, which is always paired with a meal or traditional meal called kinky. And that was our Saturday meal. And that's when I would look forward to enjoying this meal with the family. And typically, it is sold by traditional Ghana women. So Ghana sits on the coast of the Gulf of Guinea. And so the flavor profile of Ghana is spicy, umami, sweet, lots of tomatoes, fish, and then carbohydrates like corn, rice, roots like yam, potatoes. So that's the cuisine. So for me, my earliest memory with Shito is with the family on the weekends, doing chores together, and then enjoying this delicious meal, kinky, which would always be paired with shito and a side of grilled fish or fried fish. So that's my earliest food memory when it comes to.
I love that. And that truly sounds like one, the perfect day no matter what age you are. But as a child, man, like what a beautiful day. You know, you're going to spend time with all of your cousins. You're going to be productive. Everyone's in a good mood because you're getting the chores done for the week. And then you know it's going to end in one of your favorite meals. That's a beautiful day for anyone to have. And I love that you are now running a company, bottling this exact feeling into a jar and being able to bring it to the world and kind of spread that flavor profile way beyond the shores of Ghana, which I wasn't really too familiar with the exact type of chili oil that Ghana cuisine uses. I've had, more typical Asian chili oil. I've had more typical like Mexican chili oil. So could you break down chili oils kind of differ in their flavor profiles and where Ghanaian chili oil kind of fits in that mix?
Yeah, so I was surprised myself. So when I moved to, I guess, the western part of the world, the United Kingdom, and then later on the United States, always looking to trace back the taste of home and not having access to it here in this part of the world. I would always look to other cultural cuisines, Asian cuisines, to kind of find that similarity of the taste of home, even though it's never the same. We all tend to use the same ingredients, be it chilies, tomatoes, peppers, oil, to create a dish. It's just the way it is intentionally made. So I found myself looking through the Asian aisle to pull those similarities in terms of the taste of home, but it was never the same because stylistically, traditionally, how it's made is different. When you break it down, Shito, which is Ghanaian chili oil, the main components are chili, tomatoes, onion, ginger, oil, salt, and traditionally it will always have smoked seafood. And typically it would be smoked shrimp powder or smoked anchovy powders to kind of have that umami funk. So pretty much, I guess this is a good thing to have the signage here, but
Yeah.
this is the breakdown of what goes into Gloria's Chateau chili oil, the ginger, the tomatoes, the pepper, the onion. So differentiation wise, after like experiencing Asian chili oil and then comparing it back to Ghanaian chili oil, in terms of differentiation, it comes down to style of process. Often I would see Asian chili oil be dry ingredients, and it will typically be dry chili flakes, dry garlic, and then salt, and then hot oil poured and mixed in with these ingredients. Whereas with Ghanaian chili oil, the ingredients are fresh, all of it is fresh minus the dry fish component. And so you're cooking fresh ginger, fresh, and typically it would be scotch bonnet, so fresh peppers, fresh onion, blended and then caramelized together with the oil. And so these ingredients are being cooked while they're fresh until they caramelize to dehydrate the ingredients, moisture out of the ingredients. So you're infusing each flavor into the oil versus with Asian chili oil stylistically, the ingredients are added dry. So that process of maceration or integrating the ingredients and the flavors into the oil is missing. So stylistically, that's how I will differentiate the the two styles. But at the end of the day, similar ingredients. It's just the process that is different.
Yeah, that is such a thorough explanation, and it really does bring to mind several things. But one, the preparation is really going to bring out different flavors depending on how the ingredients were cooked. So that's an excellent way to kind of really set the tone for the deep flavor base that Chateau has in a way that a chili oil would maybe be lacking in roundness of flavor and the expansion of flavor because it's so few ingredients and they're also dried. Um, I wonder, where did you get your Chateau recipe from? Was it perhaps from your mother? Is that something you remember her making? I know you had a brief period of time with her, and I'm so sorry for your loss.
So now when I say my mom, I'm referring
Your
to my
aunt.
mother's sister who adopted me after my mom passed away. So
Hmm.
she became my mom. So growing up, her cooking was something that has always stayed with me because we left Ghana I left Ghana around 12, 13 years old. And as a teenager in the United Kingdom, I am learning to assimilate into other culture. So the language, the fashion, the food, the culture. And so forgoing my Ghanaian roots, my Ghanaian culture was the inevitable. However, my mom's home cooking was what kept the culture. So I could always go home and she would always consistently find ways or ingredients to create something similar to a Ghanaian dish. And
Yeah.
so her home cooking was what kept the Ghanaian culture consistent living outside Ghana. And she tried her very best looking for similar ingredients to, for example, we have a dish in Ghana which it's similar to, the leaves are similar to spinach, but it's not spinach. And it's native to West Africa, but in the United Kingdom, she had to source similar ingredients, and the closest ingredient she could find would be spinach. And she'd make this dish, which is okra spinach soup, and it will taste the same. But this was her way of trying to maintain the culture by finding similar ingredients to replicate traditional dishes. So she did her very best to keep that culture and tradition through like her kitchen and what she made at home. So for me, my hold on to my Ghanaian culture was always my mom's cooking. And she would always make shito for us. Shito is the condiment that you can make it once and put it in the cabinet and use it for a prolonged time. So it's something that you just pull and add it to anything and everything you're eating, eggs, rice, fish, and it would just give you that taste of home. And I truly believe Shito is an encapsulation of the taste of Ghana. The flavor profile of every dish in Ghana uses the same ingredients that is used in Shito. And so for me, having that taste of is something that I wanted to hold on to. So my recipe came from what my mom would make and how it tasted in terms of my recollection. So when I started making shito for myself out of necessity and desperation, because I couldn't access the taste of home where I live in Los Angeles, I figured, oh, if I can make shito, I can put it away, add it to anything and everything, and it would just give me that taste of home. So I started finding my own ingredients and sourcing ingredients, looking to similar cultures. So Asian culture typically have those umami ingredients, and then the Latin culture in California has the habaneros, the peppers, the tomatoes. So sourcing these ingredients and trying to replicate my mom's recipe, what hers tasted like. That was the benchmark for me when I started tweaking with my shito recipe. So I would say the recipe, what it is today, was me trying to replicate the taste of my mom's version, what she would make for us growing up.
That's so beautiful. And for your mom to, I think when we're little, we maybe take for granted the fact that moms work so hard to create like a comfortable, happy, loving space for us to just frolic around in and just, do our chores and do whatever we're supposed to do. And then we get to eat delicious food. But for that to be maybe the glue that bound you all together in that move that was probably so strange, so scary, so different, and like overwhelming with so much newness and change. It's really beautiful that you got to have something like that that was almost like a comfort to maybe smooth the transition a bit. And it's so interesting. I think a lot of people live in a very homogenized existence where they don't really consider the foods that they eat regularly or the foods that they grew up consuming being unavailable to them. And I think unless you've, speaking from like a white perspective as an American, if you've never left the country and you don't really have some type of background of where someone moved from another country and had a different food profile than you, I think there's a lot of room for exploration in terms of culinary tastes and flavors and the differentiations between things. And I think it can be taken for granted that food is not only for flavor, but also for love. And the cooking of something with love for the intent of it making someone happy or bringing comfort or bringing joy is something beautiful for you to be able to bottle up and offer to others as a way for them to take a peek into a flavor profile they've probably never interacted with. It's something that I'm sure once they taste, they're like, whoa, what the heck is this? I need all the bottles, all the different ways that you make it. And we'll get down to your products and all the different things you've created in the last year. But I would love to hear a little bit about your mission for spreading West African flavor profiles in cuisine. You've had really cool interactions with some chefs in LA, a very notable one that I like. That whole partnership was really cool. But tell me a little bit about your mission to spread that flavor profile that means so much to you, and what are some of the ways in which you've been getting those that have zero idea what Shitora is, even like anything about chili oil, to give it a try.
I think for me, recollecting on my memory and who I am and how I have arrived in, I guess, the world today, how I'm living today, looking back, I saw a lot of me foregoing my culture, the way I spoke, the way, how I would dress if I was not living in the United States or if I didn't grow up in the UK. But also to that, I had the opportunity to learn so much from other cultures. So in the UK, the popular cuisine is Pakistani cuisine. And then here in the United States, you have Asian cuisine. And then globally, everyone's familiar with European cuisine. The French are known to be the master chefs of the world, and then the Italians. And so every time when I find myself in this part of the world, I see other cultures being celebrated in terms of their cuisine, and I continuously did not see my culture cuisine celebrated, even though it had been something I had always loved. My mom's cooking is my favorite. And so I started asking the question, how come people are not wanting to celebrate my cultural cuisine? How come when I go grocery shopping, I'm not able to access the taste of home? And so this got me thinking and asking the question, why can't I just go grocery shopping and buy Shito, or why can't I go grocery shopping and access that taste of home? And long story short, it has to be shared. People would need to know about it. And so the lack of sharing culture cuisine with the global community was the reason why people did not have access to it, or maybe the reason why it's not accessible in grocery stores or is not being celebrated. So I wanted to intentionally talk about it and share it. And in wanting to share it, I would have to start a business and put it in grocery stores so to create that accessibility to it. And so it led me down this path of I want the world to come to taste my culture cuisine and agree with me that it's equally delicious or just as tasty as an Italian dish or a Mexican dish. So it was all of these emotions of I have come to love other culture cuisines and I celebrate other culture cuisines and I equally love my culture cuisine. And I felt like, I guess, beside myself and my culture and Ghanaians, we were the only people that loved our culture cuisine, not the outside world. And so I wanted to find a space to open that door and have people come into that world and wanting to explore my culture cuisine. So this was some of the forces or the push that kind of geared me to wanting to answer the question, why can't I access the taste of home? And why are people not celebrating my culture cuisine? And so, answering that question, I had to create that accessibility and I had to put it out for people to try it.
I love it so much. And the way that you just explained that really just made me think for a second, like my PR hat popped on. You are one of the ideal types of products that could go into a little culinary gift shop, even just like a regular little hobnob shop like in New York, or walking through Brooklyn, or these little spaces where you do have a very curated glimpse at things that you don't typically find at your local grocery store, or somewhere on Amazon if you're just flipping through. And you are absolutely the perfect person to take this leap. And I love so much that you have a chemist background. Like, you, in addition to deciding that you needed to share this flavor, rightfully so, with the world and creating this company, still had a full time job as a chemist, which I'm sure is very difficult. Probably a difficult day of a lot of hard work. And I wonder, in the process of starting to first bottle and juggling your full time job, knowing that you have this deep passion and mission to kind of share this flavor profile and get these bottles onto shelves and into the hands of smaller grocers and smaller gift shops, what was the thing that kind of kept you moving forward and driving together? Because I got to see a glimpse of it on the show, but I know that you were hard at work for a very long time before that. So walk us through what those earliest days after deciding, like, okay, I'm moving forward and doing this. Like, what did it look like and how did you get through it? Because you were doing so much, like so much.
Yeah, I was very passionate about the idea of wanting to see my cultural cuisine celebrated and putting it on a pedestal. I think for me, that vision was seeing it on a pedestal, seeing it in places where it's talked about was my pride. And I was so passionate about it, and that was my driving force. Besides that, I had zero background in starting a business. I had no clue. I wasn't quite sure where I was going, how I was starting. So for me, the start of my business was intentionally wanting to create access for myself and put it in my country. So my first time making it, it was, I'm gonna make this. I took that Saturday and it was early pandemic, so not much was going on. And so I was going on this culinary adventure to replicate the taste of home and Shito, how my mom would make it. So spend a day grocery shopping, and I'd seen my mom make Shito before, but I've never made it myself intentionally. I never woke up one day and said, I am making Shito. But because I was craving that taste of home so bad, I intentionally went grocery shopping, bought my ingredients, and then made it. And then there was that sense of pride of, oh my God, I made Shito for the first time. And it's tasty, it's delicious. I think it's tasty. It wasn't the best of the best, but for me, for having to make it for the first time, I was very proud of myself. And then I called my siblings because I wanted to let them know, hey, I made this and I know they love it too. And at this time, we're all living out on our own, so we don't live with our mom. So I was telling them I made Shito, it's delicious. If you want, I can make it and ship it to you. I have two siblings, two brothers. One lives in Michigan and one lives in New Jersey. So I was like, just Venmo me. I would go get the ingredients, I'll make it, and I'll ship it to you. And for some reason, they agreed that they wanted it so bad. So I went, got ingredients, and the following week, I made it again, shipped it to them, and they liked it. They were like, my one brother was like, it's good, but it's not as good as Auntie Happy, which is an aunt that we have, and she makes really delicious Shito. But he's like, it's good, but not as good as Auntie Happy. So then I went on this mission to like perfect it and like make just bring it to the point where he would be proud of it too. So anyway, that was my start into making this and creating that access for myself and then my siblings. And then comes in the need to share and being proud and asking why isn't it celebrated. In terms of the business, it was not a business when I started. It was the idea of wanting to share and then asking, ooh, I can go to the farmer's market. But it's not that easy. To get to the farmer's market, there are requirements that you have to meet in terms of food safety, in terms of business certification, registration. So there's all of these things, but I was adamant that I wanted to go to the farmer's market. And so because I wanted to go to the farmer's market, I did the due diligence to attain all the requirements required by the farmer's market to be able to show up. So when I eventually did, I figured, okay, well, I should keep going because I've gotten this far. And yes, at that time, I still had my daytime job being a chemist. I have been a chemist at that time for 15 years. I started working for L'Oreal USA in New Jersey, and then I later moved to California, working for Paul Mitchell, and then lastly, Jafra Cosmetics. And that job, what I do as a chemist is developing hair care products, skincare products, perfumery. So mixing ingredients at a lab scale, making sure they're stable and they perform, and then working with manufacturers to take those formulation and produce it or mass produce it. So I had that knowledge and understanding of what it requires to take an idea from a marketing idea, turn it into a product, and then work with a manufacturer to scale it. So I had that going for me. So it was very easy for me to apply that knowledge into how do I take my kitchen recipe into production. And so applying those skills and knowledge and understanding what a manufacturer requires, what information he would need to duplicate the processes and the ingredients accordingly to achieve my homemade recipe into a kettle. So that part, I'm very fortunate that my cosmetic experiences did help me easily achieve that. In terms of what was a defining point of deciding to take Gloria Shito and commit 100% have been all the opportunities I had received from day one when I made the intention that I wanted to celebrate Ghanaian cuisine in Shito was what was the driving force that helped me decide, okay, you need to focus on this because it has brought you so many opportunities beyond your wildest dreams. So the first year when I intentionally launched Gloria Shito as a business, I kid you not, within 24 hours of launching my website, less than 24 hours, I think it was literally the morning after. So my website went live at midnight. The morning after, I get an email from a food editor from Food and Wine magazine who had had her eyes on my product, wanting to review it because she was writing an article regarding condiments from around the world, and she thought my product was unique in a way where it fits within her article. So if I had not launched my business or if I had not started, I wouldn't have been the perfect fit for her editorial article. And I'm saying that to say, for me, that was a sign because I know so many people have been doing this for a long time and they are not getting emails from an editor from Food and Wine magazine to feature their product. And so how it happened for me was a driving force to believe in myself that I am on the right path. And then since then, every other opportunity that I have gotten for the business, even being on Side Hustlers, was the casting agency finding my business and recognizing it as a perfect fit for this show that they were working on. And so they reached out to me, finding me on social media. I did not know what I was signing up for, but then when I was in the process, the taping, and just being surrounded by other amazing women-owned businesses, and Emma Greed and Ashley Graham, both driving forces and amazing entrepreneurs, for me it was affirmation that I am on the right path. And literally, the week, so beginning of this year in January was a critical time point for me where I was trying to make the decision that I couldn't keep doing both and that I had to give something up. And I was just fighting myself to hold on to my job. On the week the week after I got laid off from my job, my product was featured on Today's Show. And so many people from around the country had their eyes on my brand. And then the week after, I was laid off. But before that, I was fighting with myself to hold on to my job when the universe kept telling me, no, this is what this is what I want you to do. This is what you need to focus on. This is where you shine. So I don't want to keep talking too much, but I think for the reason why I say this to say this is because when I was holding on to my job, I knew I had no intention of starting a business. I did not plan to start a business. I did not raise capital. I did not have a business plan. I was just sharing, and that sharing led me to pursuing this business. And so because I felt like I did not know what I was doing, I did not I'm trying to figure out like this business and how to approach it, was the reason why I was holding on to my job, because I didn't have a planned capital for the business. It was difficult for me to forego of that security that I had as a job. And so for me, leaving my job was, okay, this happened. And when it happened, so being laid off, when that happened, I decided, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is going to be what I'm going to focus on. And that was that pivotal moment in my life where I realized so much was going on for me for my business, and I've gotten so far with the business, and I needed to trust in my abilities to take it where it needed to go. And that was the driving force to today.
It's so beautiful, and I'm a crier, but you got me. I have so many conversations with entrepreneurs, and there's always a moment where you can see they got out of their own way, and the universe like took the wheel and started driving really fast, so they could feel what success feels like, so they know like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. And Fruity, you've got that Food and Wine review to give you the reassurance of like what you knew inside to be true anyway. It's like no one ever talks about confidence and how important it is as an entrepreneur or anyone that's trying to make a big change in the world or even just in your community. And I will say, getting that nod from the universe with the Food and Wine interview and the feature in the editorial had to have been a moment for you where you were like, aha, I knew it. Okay, cool. Okay, this is really scary, but like, what else am I gonna do? Like, it's almost like that saying, it's like time to shit or get off the pot. Like, you've got like everything at your fingertips, and the part of you that just wasn't sure, like, as you said, you didn't even want to start a business. I can't tell you how many people I have spoken to over the last 215 interviews that say that exact thing. They had no interest, no business in wanting to start a company. They were happy with what they were doing, but there was just something inside of them that they couldn't get to quiet down and just let them keep on moving on. And I love that you did have that moment, because that means that it was important to you and that you really didn't want to be frivolous with a decision, and you waited until the moment that you were given that sign that it was good to go. And I'm so glad you did, because in watching you again, editing and all of that is whatever, and cameras are weird and it makes life even weirder when things are being recorded. But as I said before we came on, it was so refreshing to see a real person on a show like that with an opportunity like that. And a lot of the women on that show were equally as authentic and real. And it was just an infectious show to watch. There was so much packed into it, but you know, you can learn financials, you can learn P&Ls, you can learn manufacturing, you can learn all the things, but you can't learn grit, and you can't learn grace, and you can't learn patience, and you can't learn purpose. You can become aware of all of these things already inside of you, but as a business owner, success is never going to come if you don't have that core personal component of those things. And that was abundantly clear and evident within your first 30 seconds on camera. Like from the beginning, I was like, oh, she's going to make it all the way to the end. She's got that special thing, that thing that you need to get through the hard times, because you like every business owner went through a lot of hard things. You had to fill out paperwork like you've never done this before. You're focusing on something entirely different in your career. You're a chemist. And with all the experience that you had, I'm sure there were still hundreds of things you've had to work through since making this decision that were completely out of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And rather than letting this big scary dog for a second scare you away from your path, you're like, all right, step back, hold on, let me give this a second to be less triggering and scary for me. Let me just figure this out. Have to get to the bottom of it. Like, you can tell that there's never been a moment in your life where something got in your way. And there's a certain level of confidence that you have to have within yourself, even if you haven't really embodied it or accepted it yet. And I love that that confidence was slowly just building and building and building. And throughout the show, you can see you recognizing and you understanding, like, holy crap, my purpose and my passion have aligned. This is my life. Like, I have goosebumps for you. It was just, I was sobbing watching you throughout the show, and a few other of your showmates, I guess. But were you aware while you were going through this process of the show and all the business growth that's happening while you're filming, was there a personal component to it to where you're like, holy crap, I'm growing too? Like, I'm growing together. Like, this is my baby, and we're getting there. We're doing it. Like, tell us about what you were feeling as you had to kind of grow alongside very quickly too.
Yeah. So the crazy thing about this show is that they really don't tell you what you're in for. So that first day of pitching to Ashley and Emma was, yes, I knew, I think a week before the pitch, they were like, oh, you need to practice your pitch because you're pitching to Ashley and Emma. And I'm like, what? So I prepare a pitch. And then the day of the pitch, they were like, throw away that pitch. So you're made to, like, turn this off.
No worries at all.
You're made to prepare for a pitch, and then the day of the pitch, they're like, nope, throw it away. You are going in there and you're just going to have a conversation with them. So when I decided I was going to do this show, it was for me an opportunity for people to see my brand. And that was my initial intent, that yes, I want people to see my brand, and this is such a great opportunity. And I was surrounded by amazing women creating amazing product, and I didn't think I had a chance to even be in that space because I have no business background. I didn't have a business plan. Like, what am I doing here? And so being in there was, this is my opportunity to talk to Emma and Ashley, and I want them to believe in my vision. And working on, I need for you to see my vision. Like, this is my vision. And that was like my whole goal of having these two women see and believe in this vision that I have. Although it might not have been a grand vision or a grand idea compared to other businesses that were there, but I was adamant that I wanted them to see this vision too. So I wasn't prepared for the ride I was on, and throughout the show, it was layers of exploring, okay, what do I, because at the end of the day, what do I need to show for Ashley and Emma to believe in me? And that was my way of, first, I have to believe in myself. I have to start believing in what I'm doing. Because if I don't believe in it, then they are not going to believe in me, and they will not think I'm the right person to be behind this brand, to do this. And I went through a process of believing in myself. So I think what you were seeing was me coming to the realization that, oh no, you can do this. You are capable. You are brilliant. Look how far you've gotten. And so that was what you were seeing, me coming to the realization that I can do this. And that was my revelation of, no, we're going to do this, and we're here and we're doing it. And they have to believe in me, because for them to believe in me, I first have to believe in myself, and I had to show that to them. So that was, I think, what you were seeing, of not knowing what I was getting myself into, and then being in that room, being in that space around other amazing women. Emma and Ashley was the realization that I belong here, I am capable, and that affirmation to myself and convincing myself that no, we can do this and we're going to do this.
It's it was so beautiful. And as I said, I was sobbing like throughout the show because your storyline was every woman's storyline. It's like to see someone working so hard. And I would like to point out that you sold out 600 bottles before you even made it onto the show. So you came with nothing in terms of like being ready to go into a big box store, right? Like you weren't there
Yeah,
yet. But
yeah,
for a business owner and a small business owner, 600 bottles is no small feat. Getting featured immediately is no small feat. So like you had so much success
yeah.
on terms of like the average business owner. And I think this show had a really beautiful twist in the fact that it was taking women that either had a really beautifully established idea or they already had a product that maybe needed a little bit of refining and tweaking so it could be elevated to then be given the masterpieces of the good branding and the good marketing to get the attention with these relationships of the big buyers. So it was beautiful to see how a brand created out of the heart and soul of someone like you was then given the attention and the little bit of no, 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 here, let's try this, or ooh, I love that, have you thought about this? You were given the white glove touch that no entrepreneur gets, right? Like you had the good American, like Emma Grede knowledge of how to create an empire, helping you to tweak your very beginnings of that, what looked like the intermediate level of your business. You'd really gotten down the first steps of what you were doing. You had a routine down. You had enough of a formula down to have 600 bottles that you were happy with and that sold out. Was there a moment where you recognized, okay, I just stepped into the big leagues? Like, despite the hosts and their business acumen, was there a moment where you kind of registered in, I guess because you didn't know what the show was about, was there a moment where you registered, like, holy crap, this is my golden ticket? Like, I have to, there's no not leaving here without whatever opportunity awaits me whenever they tell us what it is, because I don't know yet. But
I think it was when Ashley walked into my home, and shared with me that they were impressed with my pitch and that they wanted to give me the opportunity of a mentorship. I think I had counted myself out even before then, in terms of being selected out of I think it was 16 or 20 businesses that were pitching that day. I think I counted myself out. I think for me, when I went in, I was like, oh, at least I want them to see me. But I didn't think I would advance, to be selected. And it was when Ashley walked into my home to let me know that both Emma and herself could not make a decision of who wanted to mentor me, and so they both wanted to mentor me. Was like, what? How? um, and even I was still in shock, through that mentorship, and for me to realize that no, I count and I can step up to the challenge, was understanding what is a mentorship, and then also the end ticket or the golden ticket was an investment partnership. And so then I had to switch my business brain to, why would someone want to invest in me? Why would someone want to give me their money? And if they were going to give me their money, they needed to trust that the person they were giving the money to is someone who's able to use that money to excel, and not just make poor decisions. That seeing that golden ticket opportunity, that oh, I could get this opportunity, and so I need to prove to these women that I am the person they can trust. Because it's a trust. If you're deciding to give your money to someone, you are trusting that this person is capable of taking that money and making it fruitful, not just making poor decisions. So seeing that golden ticket opportunity was, no, I am the woman for this. I am the one that they need to trust, that I can get this done. I can do this. So that was that pivotal moment when Ashley walked in and said, we love your vision. We want to mentor you. Yeah. And then also I wanted to mention, so on the show, that those 600 units, were units units from the second manufacturing. So that was so there was also, I think, 500 units from the first manufacturing, 600 unit. So when I was speaking of those 600 units, I was referring back to the second manufacturing product, which had sold out, and now I have to go back so we can work together to finalize the formulation. But prior to me finding a manufacturer, I think I had sold probably 4,000 units on my own, going to farmers markets. So yes, so those 600 units, when I was thinking back, oh, I just sold out of my last production batch, which was 600 units. So yes.
Wow. You are so impressive. I hope you know that. And even before you got on the show, you were impressive. Like, there are so many people that I think we've all had a dream, and we've all had a dream that wasn't meant to be ours. And even though it really felt like it was the thing that we were supposed to do, it was maybe just a really great stepping stone to something else that was a better fit for us. And like your background with your chemist career, and having that formulation experience, and having worked with manufacturers, and understanding how things work in that regard, that was just an absolutely massive leg up. And without that information, the $5,000 in savings that you had to start this company, half of that would have been dwindled away with a consultant that would have, told you these things, but you still don't know what that means, and you don't have the connections to start the process, and you don't even know what bottle food grade safe means. And like, there's just so many things that keep pointing to this being the exact right time and the exact right place for you to be, for you to bring this to the masses. And the proof is in the pudding because you've added three more products since completing the show. Oh, please, let's give some spoiler alerts here. Let's hear how the show ended up for you. I just
Oh,
want you to
I
know
was hoping to see
that when she showed up to your apartment and said that they were both your mentor, I shouted. I was screaming. I was like, "Yes, I knew it!" But like from the beginning, you were just like front runner. I knew it was golden from you from the minute you stepped onto that camera, but tell us what you walked away with.
So I walked away with continued mentorship, and I think, yes, I was working so hard for that big investment deal, but now looking back, I think I got exactly what I needed. Because one, I was at the time also struggling to leave my daytime job. And so for someone to invest in me, they had to trust that I was committed. And I think I was not committed at that time to leave and make Gloria Shito my 100% commitment. Also, I needed more mentorship. I needed growth for them to be able to make a decision because my business was not did not have the market traction to really make a decision based on. But both Ashley and Emma believed in my vision so much that they knew that I was going to take it where I want to take it. So they wanted to continuously mentor me, give me access to them, to reach out to them, tap in, to continue to tap into their knowledge if I need. And then I also had the opportunity or the introduction to Bozoma St. John, who is a trailblazer when it comes to championing women in business and just advocating for yourself. And she also being an ambassador to Ghana, wanting to also hopefully invest in my business and offer me mentorship. So I walked away with three mentors that I can continuously tap into. And then I also walked away with a safe of 20,000 to help me continuously to build my business. So that was what I walked away with. And looking back, I truly believe at that time that was exactly what I needed.
Beautiful, and I think it is a real testament to authentic presentation of that show being, them taking very great care and them being Emma and Ashley taking very great care of how they interact with you because this business is not just your business, it's your life. And for it to not be a thing where, oh, well, you were the best candidate out of all of them, but we know you're not in a right space right now within your business for you to really be, like some shows kind of force an ending for production. And I love that production was not at the forefront of any decisions that were made because there were so many really beautiful moments that you could see there was true interaction amongst individuals that were sharing their expertise and knowing this isn't quite the time for you or this isn't quite the product you should launch with. And having access to between those three women, Emma, Ashley, and Bozeman, that's billions of dollars of market research that they've had under their fingertips and were responsible for. And I cried tears when these women said that they wanted to mentor you because that's priceless. It's an actual relationship. They believe in you so much that they wanted it to extend beyond this show. Like, if anything speaks to the testament of who you are and what your business is and if your product is worth it, those three women just signed, sealed, delivered anything that anyone could ever need to know about you or your business or your product. And I loved that, money is great, but reputation is more important. And you got the golden seal of approval, and to have so many people commenting on the taste and the robustness of flavor, and it's super complex and it's not like anything they've had before, and wow, I know these ingredients, I eat them all of the time, but like this combination, and you can see that you were light bulbs were just going off. Every single person, even in your Erewhon videos you just posted on your socials the other day, people were having flavor epiphanies, having a taste of something they've never encountered before. And you could see it made their day. You could see that they were truly touched and affected by a sauce. You know, like that says something about who you are and what you're doing and what you've created. And you're just such a special entrepreneur in that regard because you led with your heart. And, you know, not a lot of people are willing to do that because it's not always the most economical route or the quickest route to success, but the longevity of what you've created for yourself, the foundations you've built, my God, like just with the last few years of your business alone, you are set for the course of wherever you choose to take yourself. And it's just so impressive to see what you've been able to do since the taping ended. I know, you know, guys, there's always a lag between filming and when the show comes out. And in between that time, Gloria had to be quiet and be on the ground running, you know, like she can't say she was on the show until Roku and Hello Sunshine decide it's time to release production commercials. And to keep that secret and be grinding and grinding and grinding, like that has to take it out of you. Like what was that gap in time like for you of just knowing you have so much right around the corner but still just brick by brick getting that foundation laid down?
Yeah, I'm actually grateful that I had that leg or time period. So it was 12 months. So we taped August of 2023 and it came out August of 2024. And so for me, it was time for me to take the learnings, the teachings from my mentors, the expertise that they offered me in terms of if you want to go into retail, and that's where I wanted to go to, you need to take shelf space. So you need to have line extensions. So it gave me the opportunity to deliver my line extensions, work with my manufacturer to be able to test those formulations, perfect them until it was market ready. I wasn't just churning anything just because. So those 12 months gave me time to prepare and be intentional in getting ready to establish the business. So when people see the business, they're able to go back and refer whether or not did I implement any of the teachings that I learned from my mentors. So when I did the show, I only had the one product. So that was my one product. And then now I have four products. So in the span of 12 months, I added three additional SKUs. So I really needed that time to really go to work and get it done and show up and be prepared.
I love that. And it's, again, a further testament to who you are that you did not squander that time and you hit the ground running. And you've gotten so much accomplished since then. You are now partnered with a fulfillment team to deal with your shipping. So you've taken that, what is now a very busy task, off of your plate, opening you up to be able to do, I'm sure, more product development and marketing. And you can absolutely see that you took every bit of their advice and went with it. Your social media, you look so comfortable now. You look like you're thankful to be, you know, you look like you get to do this every day, not that you have to do this every day. It totally comes across that way. And it's also kind of exciting that within these moments of growth, you got to course through some uncomfortable times. Like, I would love for you to speak about the interaction that you had in your formulation process with the person kind of fulfilling that, to where they wanted to force you to use some ingredients that you didn't think were necessary. Tell us about that interaction, because I think a lot of business owners, women especially, can feel disrespected in the process, of course, of not being respected for what their education or their understanding of their product may
Yeah.
be, but to be also put in that sticky, like, oh, this is uncomfortable, I have to create a boundary and like do this. But what did that kind of look like for you, and how did you get through that scenario to the other end? Because I thought it was really important that you shared that.
So in the very early on, I knew I wanted to go to scale because I understood what going into production meant, and I had that knowledge. So I started very early on asking questions, reaching out to manufacturers, asking to see if they have the equipments, the capabilities to help me take this kitchen recipe and bottle it. And so a lot of the manufacturers that I talk to, oftentimes they use a consultant in terms of developing formulation or preparing the formulas before they receive it, because they're not formulators, you're not chemists, they're not scientific, they're very much manual in terms of the processes. So they oftentimes will have a consultant. So I was referred to a consultant who happened to be a chemist. So in terms of learning about this person, he was a chemist for another personal care brand, and now he works in being a liaison between manufacturers and food entrepreneurs like myself. So when we first interacted, when I met with this person and asking, okay, what are the requirements? What would you need to have my formulation suitable for this manufacturer? And so he took my product, he looked at it. I'm not sure if I can pull it. Give me 1 second because I wanted to really show you. I'm not sure if it can come through in camera, but if you see the product, it has oil separation on the top. And what that means is that with manufacturing, if the product is not homogeneous in terms of like ketchup or mayo or even sriracha, these products have a binding agent. And so they stay together and you are able to equally fill each bottle in terms of volume and consistency. He was telling me, this chemist was telling me, and him not being familiar with what Shito is, where it's from, he was telling me, well, they cannot produce this type of product because it separates. And for the equipments to be able to handle it, it needs to be binded. And so we would need to add water and a binding agent to make the formulation suitable for the equipment. And so when I met him on my own. I didn't come with anyone. It was me sending emails, me talking to him on the phone, coordinating these meetings. Approach was dismissal in terms of wanting to learn about what this product is, where it's from, the integrity of the product. He figured, oh, we need to change it so it can meet the manufacturing capabilities. And I'm like, well, that's not what I wanted to create. That's not what I want to bring to the market. I am not wanting to bring a product that is water-based with thickeners and flavors to have a like product. And for me, that does not speak to the integrity of my culture, where it's from. And so I was adamant that no, I want to find a manufacturer who has the capabilities to help me scale the product as I intended to share it with the world. And so for him, his pattern words for me was, okay, you can go back and talk to your partners and let me know what you want to do. And I'm like, the decision maker is right here in front of you. I don't know who you thought you were talking to, but I'm the decision maker. I mean, I didn't say that out loud to him, but in my head, I started asking, does he really think I have, like, am I working for someone? Am I, like, is someone sponsoring this ambition? No, this is my ambition. I'm here talking to you, seeking your help. So I knew talking to him and having a scientific background and a scientific understanding, ingenuity of, okay, manufacturing processes, yes, how can I create my process and my procedure and deliver this to a manufacturer so they can scale it. I figured this is what I do, a day in the life of me as a chemist. This is my job, but I just do it in the cosmetic aspect. And I needed to apply that same understanding with my product. And so writing down the ingredients, the formulation as a whole, the steps, the temperatures, like what requires to do this, I figured I need to write it down. And then when I started doing my search, and it took me 7 months to find my manufacturer that I ended up going with, because it was impossible, nearly impossible. So many reasons why someone wouldn't want to work with me. It could be as simple as we do not package glass product in our facility because we can't manage that, or we do not process ingredients with oil, because we need to be able to separate oil from the sewage before it goes back into the environment, and we're not set up. Just all these random, weird reasons why. But eventually, after 7 months of looking, I found the manufacturer who is able to work with me, take my traditional processes, understand the integrity of the product, and help me scale the product. But I think it was that first interaction where I felt not seen by this man, even though I told him and he knew I was a formulator myself. I thought he would be able to talk to me at an at a level of like equals. Like, yes, you are a retired chemist and now you're doing this, but I'm a chemist. I'm growing in the industry, and I felt he would have met me where we both had a familiar common ground. But his dismissal of what I was trying to do and telling me what I needed to do. He's like, "No, this is what you have to do to achieve what you need to do, and go talk to your partners and let me know what you want to do moving forward." I never called him back. I just said, "This is not the person that's going to help me."
And thank goodness you didn't give up. And in a way, it seems like, I'm so sorry you had that interaction. It's gross. Mansplaining is so like at least 2020. We'll say like mansplaining had a hard cut, We're like over it, guys. We're really over
Yeah.
it. But it seems like it was fuel to your fire. And I want to point out for everyone listening, 7 months can feel like a really long time when you want to make something happen and you're met with no after no after no after no. You can't quit. You can't take what someone says if you know in your heart it to be not true. When there's a will, there's a way. And that statement, you are looking at it in the flesh. When there is a will, there's a way. And Gloria, it's just what you've done in such a short period of time is so impressive. You've added 3 more products. We have your OG chili oil. Then you have the True American Medium, which I'm so sorry you had to do that, but I think it's funny that you had to dimmed it down a bit. You also have a dry seasoning, and then you have a honey based chili. So all the links that you need to be able to purchase these delicious condiments are going to be in the show notes, as well as an Instagram to find Gloria. Go stalk her page. It's so beautiful. Your branding, your video work, everything. The Hello Sunshine group just gave you the most stunning rendition of who you are as a person in video. It's really amazing the way your personal branding comes through so beautifully. And it's just such a fun way to get to know you and Gloria Shito all in one quick little second. So I loved that a lot. But
Yeah. And
I
thank
have a
you for
final.
saying that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was gonna
No,
say
no.
thank you for saying that, because for me, showing up on camera was a challenge, because starting a business and then looking at other businesses that are successful in the space, what are they doing? How are they showing up? And for me, I thought it had to be perfect. It had to be ready. I had to have my makeup done, my hair done, like wearing like a business appropriate outfit. But I had to learn that for people to buy into me, I have to show up as who I am. And that was very difficult for me, to show up as I am. So I'm starting to accept it and allow myself to just show up as I am. So thank you for saying that because it means a lot. Um,
Of course. And it's only what I've seen, you know? It's just the little bit of stalking that I've done between Instagram and the show. You're a real one. And it's really beautiful to see you having success. And I know this is literally the infancy and the very beginning of everything that you're going to do and everything you're capable of. And I, for one, am so excited to see where West African cuisine ends up in the next few years because you are absolutely championing such a beautiful flavor profile that truly deserves to be at the forefront of a lot of taste. I think there's so much out there for everyone to explore across all kinds of cultures. And guys, seasonings make the world go round. Wars were fought for them. Try some. Try something new. You know, you may want to branch out. Maybe you're of a particular culture and you only eat what you eat. Maybe you're nervous. Maybe you live in a small town and you don't have access to lots of different kinds of food. Start with a sauce. Can never go wrong with a sauce. Put it on some chicken. There you
yeah.
go. It's easy. Just give it a go. And we cannot neglect that you are in Erewhon. Congratulations. That's amazing. As well as so many
Yeah.
other supermarkets and mini stores. Check out her website to see if she is located in a retailer near you. If you do not see Gloria Chateau on a shelf near you, please go up to the counter. It's very easy to request a new product being brought in. It's as simple as pulling it up on your cell phone, showing them the website, and then they will speak with their distributors to get it on the shelf. I do it with every guest I have on the show, and let me tell you guys, it works. If it's small or a big box grocery store, they want to keep you happy and they want to keep you off of Amazon. So ask, ask, ask. You can make a huge impact for a small business owner by asking for the products you enjoy to be on your shelves. So look into that. It's super easy. Gloria, I have one final question that I ask all of my guests. How do you make your life rich?
I think that's a good question. For me, I look to my family, the opportunities, looking back, counting my blessings. Those are what make me feel rich. Although I'm wanting to build wealth and generational wealth for my family. Knowing that my parents worked really hard, gave me and my siblings opportunities. As little as it was, they took advantage of those opportunities to create. Coming to the United States, not everyone gets that opportunity, but my father knew that that was going to be a stepping stone for his kids. How do I get rich? How do I feel rich? Recognizing that I'm already rich in the blessings that I have and taking those opportunities and building onto it. Um, it's how I feel rich and how I get rich. I think that was the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and such a beautiful, poignant answer. You are a true gem. It was such a pleasure to speak with you and get to know you better. I will be stalking you every step of the way. I cannot wait to see where you end up, not only this year, but in the many years to come, because this is, again, just the very beginning. And I'm so happy for you. And thank you for trusting yourself. And thank you for working on the hard things like confidence and believing that you deserve things because you were absolutely put here to do this. It's such an important mission and it's just so beautiful to watch. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah, again, for wanting to give me the opportunity to share my story. I'm grateful, so thank you.
You're great. We're all done.
Hey,
Oh, it's
thank you for all the amazing questions.
no, you're amazing. Like, thank you for making it easy. I'm sure you have like all the help you could ever need, but if you ever need anything, have any questions, like please reach out. I, I don't do PR anymore, but I love doing it for like helping people that are real people and you're a real person. So if there's any contacts you're looking for or you ever have any questions, like please do not hesitate. It would be an honor to help in any regard. So, just one thing, it's still uploading. I don't know. Did it say that it stopped on your end?
It's at 99% uploading. Do I hit? any button. Okay, okay, yeah. It's the arrow that says uploading. Cause yeah, for me it says 99% uploading. But it's been saying that the whole interview. Okay, no problem. That's fine. Oh, no, it's fine. I am working for myself, so I have to I have a meeting with I think in the next hour, I have a meeting with my, so I need to stop calling her my intern, but she helps me with social assets. Like if I'm going to a farmer's market, she does like the IG post or assets to communicate that I'm going to be at the farmer's market. So we're meeting to kind of go like over all the things that I would need a post design from her. So she is a business, she's doing her master's in business at my alma mater. I went to St. Peter's University in Jersey City. So I reached out to them and asked for someone who'd be interested in like helping me with like social media design assets. And she's actually responsible for my newsletters.